Dear Nigerians, let's remove the politeness. Nigeria is not a poor country. Nigeria is not unlucky. Nigeria is not developing. Nigeria is what happens when a society becomes comfortable with decay. In functional countries, corruption is a scandal. In Nigeria, it is a career path. In functional countries, leaders are servants. In Nigeria, leaders are emperors and the people kneel willingly. Pause and think for a moment. How does a nation rich in oil remains poor in power supply? How does a country full of graduates produce so little innovations? How does a population angry about bad governance keep recycling the same leadership? It is because degeneration is not imposed, it is tolerated. The average citizen condemns corruption until it is their turn to benefit from it. People will shout about justice until tribal loyalty is involved. Merit is ignored. Connections are worshipped. Discipline is rare. Noise is everywhere. Nigeria has mastered one dangerous skill: celebrating appearances instead of results. A politician steals billions, but builds one visible road and becomes a hero. A fraudster sprays money, and suddenly he is a role model. A society that respects wealth more than character will always be exploited. Here is the brutal truth most people will never say out loud. Nigeria doesn't just have a leadership problem, it has a standards problem. Bad leaders rise where expectations are low. Chaos strikes where citizens refuse responsibility. Nothing changes where outrage expires after a hashtag. But understand this clearly, Nigerians. Degeneration is a choice repeated daily. Every time competence is ignored for loyalty, every time votes are traded for temporary relief, every time people laugh at discipline but admire excess. Nations do not collapse because they lack potentials. They collapse because too many people adjust to dysfunction. And here is what makes Nigeria so dangerous and so powerful at the same time. If the culture ever shifts from tolerance to standards, if citizens begin to demand performance instead of promises, if excellence becomes more attractive than shortcuts, the same country the world underestimates could transform with a terrifying speed. So, this is not an attack, it is a warning. A nation rises the moment its people become allergic to mediocrity. Until then, nothing will ever change. So, pause again for a minute and ask yourself one uncomfortable question. If tomorrow every corrupt politician disappeared, would the average citizen suddenly become principled? Or would many simply step into the same game? Because the truth is harder than outrage. People often hate corruption only when they are excluded from it. Watch closely. Rules are treated like obstacles. Integrity is seen as weakness. Process is mocked. Patience is unfashionable. Everyone wants a breakthrough. Very few wants the discipline that produces one. So, the cycle continues. Citizens complain about leaders, yet admire those who cheat the system. They demand accountability, yet defend wrongdoing when it is their own. They condemn greed, yet measure success almost entirely by visible wealth. You must understand this clearly, Nigerians. A culture that rewards outcome but ignores method will eventually reward predators, and predators will always rise where standards are negotiable. This is Logic from the Logic Man.